But those little black dots that you can see residing upon this, quilt, so to speak, and the black dots are the spores of the fungus. And you can see here, just as I'm kind of moving this pale debris, it's not quite dead skin, it's not quite wax. What this is, to me it kind of has like a kind of cloth-like quality. And that's because that's mycelium. And mycelium is this kind of rooting, kind of furry bed of the fungus upon which the spores will sprout out of. So the best way to think of it is like the mycelium of the fungus is sort of like this very fine mesh or weave of hairs. So that's what it is, and we're trying to retrieve this sample here. You can very clearly see those black dots there, what we call the conidia. The black dots, like the head, which carries all the spores, is the conidiophore, and then the little spores themselves are called conidia. But there's the sample, and I quickly put that in like a little kind of tube, like a sample container tube. And my initial thought was, great, I'll finish this patient off, and if it goes well, then I'll have time to look at it under the microscope. And then I got really busy, and as it happened, I thought, right, I'll do it tomorrow. And basically a week went by, and all the while this little kind of globule of fungus and dead skin and wax was just kind of sitting there in this tube, happily growing away. And when I came to look at it again, it looked quite different from the sample that I harvested in this video. So part 2 will be very interesting, but it basically looks like a little world underneath the microscopes. It's very interesting. And what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit more about it, and the type of fungus that it is. I think those of you who are already familiar with this kind of thing, and clinical case presentations of fungi and otomycosis and stuff, will probably already know what fungus it is just by the look of it. But under the microscope we can kind of see it in detail and high resolution. So and it's shot through the microscope in 4K, so it's got nice resolution. So here, as I get deeper and deeper, you can see just how rich the debris is in spores and this black mold. And there's just a close of it with the endoscope. So, and if I'm right, this is the same strain of fungus that basically does cause black mold, like when food is spoilt and things like that. And you can see on the wipe here that kind of black dusty stuff. Again, those are the spores, the conidia of this fungus. So going in again, we're going to remove this last little piece of debris. And when I say debris, I mean basically it's just sort of a mess of spores and mycelium and hyphae and dead skin and wax and fluid and oil, and it's all just a complete mess, really. But the good news is that after this procedure was done, the patient was no longer in pain. They felt their hearing was better, and then of course I was straight on the phone to his general practitioner doctor to organize a prescription for this patient. hopefully this is now